everyone, it's Nessa Lily and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to be doing my night out makeup look. It's just, what I've always gone to over the last few years. I love my golds and I love my bold lip and I just think it really goes well together. So if you want to see how I got this look and everything, that kind of thing, keep on watching. I already did my brows off camera, so now I'm going to be priming my eyes. And to prime my eyes, I use the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Eye Primer. And a little bit of this primer goes a very long way. Just like a dot. And I'm just going to blend that out with my finger. To set that primer, I'm going to be using my Essence All About Matte translucent powder. Just using a flat foundation brush. Just going to dip my brush into it a little bit. And just pat it down so we have a nice even base for the shadows. The first shade, I'm going to be using this Wet n Wild contour palette. You can see how well loved this is. This is all every time I get this color always falls out, but I mean I love it because the colors are just so pretty. But anyway, I'm going to be using this dark shade in my crease. Just for a nice transition for all the colors. To deepen up the crease a little bit, I'm going to be using this shade in the Morphe 35F palette. Oh, I love this palette so much. It's so pretty. But I'm going to be using that just a little bit lower than the first shade. Just to start deepening it up a little bit. And I'm using an e.l.f. blending brush. And then I'm going to use the same brush that I used just to kind of blend those two colors together and blend it up. To start deepening up the outer V, I'm going to be using this dark brown shade from Morphe in here. It's actually called Mocha. And it's like a nice rich mocha kind of color. So I'm just going to dip it in there, tap off the excess just a little bit, and start kind of packing it out right there. Just working really tiny sections right here. You don't want to always start off with too much because then it's going to be hard to blend out. Just packing and kind of swiping a little bit. It's like a tap and push. To blend it out, if it's too harsh, you can get the first brush that you use, the really fluffy one. Just kind of blend those edges out as well. Blending is key, always. To make the outer V even darker, I'm going to go into this black shade from that same Morphe palette. This black is so dark and it's so pretty. I have another black in my little Morphe palette, but this one's just darker. That one's just a little chalky. And just start packing it on with another e.l.f. blending brush. And kind of still doing the same thing we did, swiping back and forth. And you can go between brushes if you need to pack on and blend. So now for one of my favorite parts, I love doing the lid color because all these shadows in here are just so beautiful. Like all these golds are just to die for. And I think I'm going to go in with this one right here. And to intensify it, what I do is usually take it on a brush and then get some water or a setting spray. I refilled one of my setting spray bottles with water, so I mean, it still works. Just spray it a little bit and then just start packing it on. Ooh, that's so pretty. Look how beautiful that color is. So nice. Just keep packing it on till it's bright enough, till it's to your content, however you want it. So I'm gonna just say right now, I kind of messed up. I put in this shade, I mixed it with this one, so I'm gonna repeat that on the other side, but I actually liked how it came out. It was like a nice pale gold, instead of like a more bronzy-ish, but it looks good. But, you know, makeup is not perfect, and when you make mistakes you can fix them, and sometimes the mistakes look even better than what you were going for. I'm just gonna blend the black just a little bit into the gold so it's not so harsh. Gonna be moving on to the face. I'm gonna put on a primer, and then for my foundation I'm gonna be using the Maybelline Matte and Poreless in Classic Tan. Get my Real Technique sponge and dot the foundation on my face. Dot it around, and then to start blending it out, I found this trick out actually from Laura Lee that she did it on Manny when she was doing his makeup. Put a little bit of spray on your blender, and it helps seal in the foundation more when you blend out. And I go in with light layers at first because it's just easier to build up, and this is actually a pretty buildable foundation too. It's really nice. I like the finish. And now for my concealer. I love this concealer. It's the LA Girl Pro Conceal in Fawn. Okay, Fawn. So I just kind of draw some lines under my eyes. I have some really bad dark circles. I'm sure you guys already saw that, but draw some lines under here. Blend it out. I'm just going to let it set for a little bit so it can really sink into the skin, the under eye, so it can give me the most coverage there. So now that it's sat for a little bit, what I do to blend it out is I take my finger, my middle finger right here, just kind of start dabbing it a little bit, because I feel like the sponges or just anything, you know, sponges, they kind of tend to soak up the product a little bit, so I like to blend it out with my finger first so it just kind of goes and blends evenly. Now to set my concealer, this is actually one of my favorite parts. I use that same translucent powder and I dip it in with the sponge. Powder everywhere. And then I will press it, see it looks like a lot, under my eye. And I'll just start kind of blending it in there. To bronze up the skin or like slash contour, whatever, I use that same contour shade from Wet n Wild with my BH Cosmetics brush. I just start kind of carving out the cheeks just a little bit. And then my earring's getting going. Kind of going down the jawline a little bit. Okay, you got it. And then just a little bit on the forehead. Now I'm going to go back to the eyes, and I'm going to take the black shade that we used and I'm going to tap it off and then kind of start smoking out that lower lash line. Just going right along the lash line, but keeping it kind of on the outer part of the eye so it doesn't get too dark on the inside. Then I'm going to take a tiny bit of that dark brown shade that we got and just kind of go right under it. So the liners look pretty good, and now I'm going to be going on to mascara. See, I had a favorite mascara. Its name was Sephora Full Length. Full Action, one of the two. Full Action. But it's just a little too expensive for me right now, so I'm going to be using my Mega Length mascara from Wet n Wild. Wet n Wild has some really good makeup. Like, it's one of those brands that people don't think they're gonna have like good quality products because they're so cheap, but they tend to surprise you a lot. Like, I don't know, this one really surprised me. Like, it just got every lash and it makes my lashes so long. For my brow bone highlight, I'm gonna be using that one shade that I mixed in with the gold shade right here in the Morphe palette. Tap on it a little bit, tap it off, and then what I do is I kind of place it on the arch of my brow. Right there, and then I start blending it out because it is a very bright pigmented shadow and I don't want it to be too bold. For my highlight, I'm going to be using that same shade, and I'm going to be applying it with this fan brush from BH. It's a really fluffy fan brush, and I kind of like it more dense and packed. So I keep the little wrapping that it has, so I can just kind of apply it like that on the tips, and then I'll spray. If you want like an intense highlight, you use a water or a setting spray. Now lastly for lips, I love this liquid lipstick. Like, it's just my favorite. Thank you to Wet n Wild. I'm pretty sure Wet n Wild is just my favorite brand, as you can see. But I'm going to be using their Mega Last Catsuit lipstick in Missy and Fierce. And it's just such a bright, pretty red. And this is the finished look. This is my go-to night out look that I wear every single time that I'm going out with someone, or, you know, just want to feel really good, feel myself, you know, that kind of thing. So I hope you guys like it. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. And thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time.